A strange thing happened to Nasruddin during Ramadan in March of 1602. He was meditating and had a vision that was beautiful and at the same time unsettling. He was focused on deep breathing, and suddenly an image came to his mind. He saw a lot of pots of food around a large cooking fire. The cooks were preparing food to give it to poor people. People that were hungry came to the community kitchen, and nobody had to pay any money. It was a beautiful image, but Nasruddin thought, where will I get the money to carry this wonderful project out? Ramadan is a Muslim custom, similar to Lent for Catholics and Protestants. It's a 1 month period of prayer, self reflection, fasting, and charity. The Muslims develop a direct individual relationship with God. They don't have priests or ministers that act as an intermediary with God. On the other hand, they have natural leaders who have gained the respect of the people due to their wisdom and service to the community. These leaders are called imams. Nasruddin was a famous imam. He lived in Constantinople, Turkey, in the heart of the Islamic Empire. He made his money from gambling. Gambling was prohibited in the Islamic Empire of the 1600s, except under special circumstances. It was accepted if it had a charitable purpose. Nasruddin always won money from the rich and gave it to the poor. Nasruddin told his best friend Alfredo about his vision of a community kitchen. Alfredo asked, how are you going to carry such an expensive project out? Nasruddin answered, I'm waiting for a signal from God to answer that question. Alfredo commented, while you're waiting for that signal, I have a juicy piece of gossip. The new mayor is investigating anyone that has big, expensive parties. He calls the sponsor of the party into his office to ask him where he gets enough money to spend so much in one night. The mayor wants to fight against the big drug traffickers. Nasruddin was surprised and pleased by the news. He told Alfredo, you just gave me the answer to my question about how to fund the community kitchen. Alfredo asked, what do you mean? Nasruddin responded in his normal, mysterious way, I'll let you know next week. I need to work out the details. That conversation happened on Tuesday afternoon. Nasruddin spent the rest of the week preparing for a party at his house on Saturday evening. His party was part of the 3-day festival at the end of Ramadan. It was a big and extravagant party with live music and an abundance of food. Of course, there weren't any alcoholic beverages because Islam prohibits drinking them. Nasruddin invited all the people in his neighborhood, about 200 people, both rich and poor. On Monday morning, Nasruddin received a written message from the mayor of Constantinople. The message was as follows: Nasruddin, I heard that you gave an extravagant party for 200 people. I need to talk to you in my office as soon as possible. Nasruddin thought, my plan is going very well. He immediately went to talk to the mayor. Nasruddin smiled and told the mayor, Honorable Mayor, you probably want to congratulate me for sharing food and music with all my neighbors. You may know that I always do charitable deeds at the end of Ramadan. With a very serious look on his face, the mayor said, I called you to my office to ask you questions, Nasruddin, not to congratulate you. Nasruddin pretended to be surprised and said, What would you like to ask me, dear mayor? The mayor replied, You don't have a job or a business. Where do you get the money for such an extravagant party? Nasruddin answered, I'm a very fortunate man because people always want to make bets with me, and I always win even if I lose. The mayor was puzzled by the answer. He thought, how can he win when he loses a bet? He asked Nasruddin, would you like to make a bet with me? Of course, replied Nasruddin. I bet you that tomorrow morning you'll wake up with a red mark on the left cheek of your rear end. Would you like to bet 10 gold coins? The mayor couldn't keep himself from laughing. He told Nasruddin, that's the most ridiculous bet that I've ever heard. I accept your proposal. I'll see you in my office tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock so you can pay me in gold. Nasruddin responded, of course, dear mayor. I will be waiting at your door when you arrive at 9 a.m. The mayor was very sure that he was going to win the bet. After sitting at his desk for 2 hours, he went to the bathroom and decided to check his rear end to make sure that there wasn't any red mark there. Because of sitting so long, he had a red mark on his rear end. The mayor decided to spend the rest of the day standing while he attended to the people who came to see him. He was very tired by the end of the day. Nevertheless, when he went home, the only time he sat down was when he was eating dinner. Rather than going home after seeing the mayor, Nasruddin went to see his friend Alfredo. Alfredo was the best lawyer in Constantinople and was always busy. Nasruddin had to wait 2 hours before he had the opportunity to talk to his friend. He told Alfredo, I need your help, my dear friend. I figured out how to get the money for my community kitchen project. You aren't going to believe what the mayor is going to do tomorrow morning. I need you to accompany me to his office at 9 a.m. After we enter his office, he will raise his robe and show us his rear end. Alfredo burst out laughing. He declared, that's the craziest thing that I've ever heard. I know the mayor very well. He'd never do that. How much would you like to bet? Asked Nasruddin. Alfredo stopped laughing. He never made bets with Nasruddin. He said, all right, I believe you. But why would the mayor do that? Nasruddin explained his meeting with the mayor and the bet of 10 gold coins. Alfredo said, but Nasruddin, you'll never win that bet. Nasruddin answered, no, but I'll win one much more important, and for that I need your help. The second bet will be with the mayor's brother, David. You know him very well since he's your richest client. We're going to give him a wonderful opportunity to do a good deed. Alfredo said, I think I'm going to like your plan. Alfredo immediately called David. They agreed to meet at a coffee shop that evening. Alfredo told David, I'm worried about your brother because he just made a bet with Nasruddin for 10 gold coins. Call your brother and ask him if he did that, but don't say anything else. David immediately called and asked his brother the question. The mayor answered, yes, brother, it's true. I'll explain everything tomorrow. I need you to be at my office at 9 a.m. Then Alfredo told David, your brother is going to show Nasruddin his naked rear end in his office tomorrow morning. David burst out laughing and said, that's the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my entire life. Alfredo replied, I assure you he's going to do that. David was rich because he always knew how to take advantage of a situation. He said, Alfredo, if you're so sure about that, why don't we make a bet? Alfredo answered, of course, David. How much would you like to bet? David said, I bet you 20 gold coins that my brother won't show anyone his naked rear end tomorrow. Alfredo answered, 20 gold coins isn't worth the trouble. Why don't we bet 100 gold coins? David almost shouted with glee, It's a deal. Prepare your money for tomorrow. My brother didn't become mayor by showing his naked rear end in public. Alfredo said, There's only one condition. We have to be together today and tonight at my house, and neither you nor I can make or receive any phone calls. This bet requires no interference in what might happen tomorrow. David agreed and declared, This is one of the best business deals I've ever made. Let's go to your house and celebrate. They spent the evening talking about their experiences when they were in the university together. When the mayor woke up the next morning, he looked at his rear end in the mirror and was very happy to see that he didn't have a red mark. He thought, today Nasruddin will lose his foolish bet. Then he'll have to explain where he gets his money. He's probably connected with drug traffickers and thinks that I won't investigate him if I win this bet. After he pays me the money, I'll immediately arrest him and do an investigation. At 8:45, Nasruddin, Alfredo, and David were waiting outside the mayor's office. The mayor arrived with his lawyer at 9:15 and was in a very good mood. He invited the three men into his office and asked them to sit down. However, the mayor remained standing. He said, Nasruddin, please promise me not to cry. I don't have a red mark on my rear end. Nasruddin answered, Well, dear mayor, then I lost the bet. But since there's a lot of money at stake, would you please show us that you don't have a red mark on your rear end? If you're right, I'll pay you immediately. The mayor immediately turned around and raised his robe. You see, he said, there isn't any red mark on my rear end. He lowered his robe and laughed. Now you can pay me 10 gold coins. Nasruddin took the money out of his pocket and paid the mayor. The mayor said, You've lost a very important bet, Nasruddin. Now I'll have to arrest you and do an investigation about the source of your wealth. Nasruddin replied, My dear mayor, I think your brother can explain where my money comes from. The mayor said, But my brother doesn't know anything about you, Nasruddin. David was very embarrassed. He told his brother about his bet for 100 gold coins. I thought that you would never raise your robe and show your rear end to us this morning. I should have known that there was something fishy going on when Alfredo agreed to the bet so calmly. Alfredo explained, the money from the bet will be used to begin a community kitchen to serve meals to the poor on Saturdays and Sundays. This project is based on a vision Nasruddin had during meditation. The mayor said, You've convinced me, Nasruddin, that you always win a bet, even when you lose. And you've shown me that you are not only very astute, but that you also have a very good heart. You've given my brother the wonderful opportunity to do a good deed. David was not celebrating. He was already thinking about how he could recover 100 gold coins.